You're watching Pyro Media Network. Hello, Pyro Media family. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. Welcome to Tasha. I am Tasha Champion, and this is Shenomenal. I am so excited to be back. I'm so excited for this new year. 2023 was let me see, how can I describe 2023? 2023 was a mess. It was great. There were highs, there were lows, there were ups, there were downs. It was just a little bit of everything. And of course, you know, that happens throughout our years. I get it. But 2023 was that was just something special, not even just with me, but friends and family that I speak with. Like, everybody just has something going on in 2023, but y'all, that's gone, right? It is gone. It's over. This is your new opportunity, and there's just going to be some amazing things coming as long as you are open and willing to accept it, to own it, to be a part of it, to be intentional with it. And you really can manifest and feel into all the things that you seek and desire for yourself. And my guest today is Stacy McCall-Martin. She's a licensed family and marriage counselor. And today we're going to be talking about just really leaving the drama behind in 2024. But understand that what she and I will talk about is not about just leaving the drama of 2023 behind. It's about acknowledging like the drama that's happening in your life. It's about being aware of who's bringing drama in your life. And even if it's yourself, what do you need to do to just really let that go? Because that drama is really going to hold you hostage of moving forward and moving into what your higher power has for you. And we want to start this year by just completely going to the trash and dumping out all of the drama, the negativity, the low vibrations. We want to just really discard the things that are not a part of our higher self and our higher being. Okay. Now, with this year, I am officially having my Shenomenal Women's Retreat. It is May 17th through 19th in beautiful Palm Springs, California. For more information, I actually have a few spots left, shenomenal.com/retreat. This is going to be a beautiful container of women where we are going to nourish our soul in truth. So, what is our soul and our spirit asking for? And how do we nourish that to boldly and fiercely bring it to life? So, if you need that space just for you as a woman, letting go of your titles of mom, CEO, boss, wife, sister, all of that, like letting go of your titles and just being in a space where you can connect with yourself and women that are like you, that's the place where you really, really want to be. And I'm so excited to have you guys come in and be a part of that. Also, I will have more information coming up, but our fourth annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch is going to be September 21st, 2024. I know we're used to having it in the summer, but we are shifting into a fall brunch. But don't worry, all the goodness that we've brought you the last 3 years in the summer, we're going to bring it and enhance it into the fall. So get ready, because September 21st, 2024, we're just in the midst of planning an amazing, amazing brunch. So if you were at the third one, like that third brunch, I still don't have the words for it. It was just that powerful and just that good. So if you were there last year, you definitely want to be here this year, because we are growing, we're expanding, we're enhancing. Like, it's going to really, really be amazing. So I'm excited to have you guys come. You will need to get your tickets early because we sell out rather quickly. Okay. Now, before we get started, I want to say this. In 2024, yes, we're going to talk about leaving the drama and things behind, but I also want you to think about, what is it that you truly want for your year? How do you want to support other minority businesses? How do you want to be supported for yourself if you have a business? I'm encouraging each of you, find out what your friends and family are doing. One of the things, as an entrepreneur and having many friends that are entrepreneurs, one of the things that I always hear and always see is, man, I get more support from strangers than I do from my family and friends, which honestly, let's be real, you grow from expanding beyond your inner circle. But for those that are in your inner circle, we do want to feel that love and that support. So, where can you share your friends' businesses? How can you maybe donate to their nonprofit? What can you do? Ask what you can do. Let's all see how we can really grow together. Begin to learn what people are doing, so that if you know person A needs the service that person B offers, you can be that person that connects them. And this is how we grow together in business, and we can really begin to build our culture by supporting one another. And I want to see that happen. I have already I chose to be a sponsor for an event that's coming up in the high desert where I am. And I'm going to continue to do that, because there are people that support me, and I want to extend that same love and support outward, so that, again, we can all just really grow. So, again, find out what businesses or ventures that your people have, and find out how you can support them. Maybe you can't buy something, but maybe you can just spread the word. Maybe you can't attend an event, but you can share about the event. This is what we have to do for one another. It's important. I encourage it, and I'm not just talking about it. I am going to be about it. All right. All right. So, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Oh, before I do, let me shout out my executive producer, Kwame Corbett, because his birthday is in a couple of days. He is one of my favorite Tasha Capricorn. So happy birthday to Kwame. I hope you have just not only an amazing birthday, but I hope this birthday extends into how powerful this year is going to be for you. All right. So happy birthday. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will get started. We will chat with Miss Stacy McCall-Martin, and let's see what we need to do to leave the drama behind so you can step into the power of your life. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Because self-care should be luxurious. Luxe Noir.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. Again, Happy New Year. And today I am chatting with Miss Stacy McCall-Martin, a licensed family and marriage counselor. And today we are chatting about leaving the drama behind. So let's welcome Miss Stacy McCall-Martin. Miss Stacy, hello.
Hello, Tasha. Thank you for having me on today.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I was so happy when you were a yes. I think it's so important that we, talk about how we're leaving drama behind. And I remember when I first asked you about it, you were like, yes, yes, yes. And I figure because of the work that you do, you probably work with people all the time about not investing in the drama and how to really move forward in their life. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about you.
So again, my name is Stacy McCall-Martin. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and a lifestyle coach. I dub myself the exhaustion recovery coach for Black women specifically, but for women everywhere as well. A lot of the time, women don't even understand that they are attracting drama. They don't understand what keeps happening or that it's drama. They've been in it so long, they don't acknowledge that that's what it is. So a lot of what I do, a lot of what I am passionate about is journeying with women to identify those spaces, places, and relationships that benefit from their drama, that benefit from their exhaustion. I invite them to challenge and disrupt those patterns so that they can live a well-rested, drama-free life.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And for those that don't know, Stacy attended my third annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. That is actually where we met. I got a lot of great compliments about her, and she was just a pleasure and a joy. And I'm like, yeah, I got to have her on my show for sure. So again, I'm really happy to have you here. But let's just dive right in, right? First off, what do you find brings women the most drama that they immerse themselves in?
Ooh. I find women really find it difficult to acknowledge the drama that they have been in for a long time. Unfortunately, that can be family relationships. They grew up in the mess. So they don't even realize that this is not something that is healthy. This is not something that is inviting growth at all. It's something that's keeping you stuck. It's something that is draining you. It's something that is making you further from hopeful and get you closer to hopeless. So it tends to be those relationships that they have been in connection with for a very long time.
Right. Like I do a lot of happiness coaching, and one of the things that I do realize with that is people are trying to find happiness in external ways. And a lot of women who, and I'm saying women, guys, because I primarily work with women, but this is people in general, let's be clear. But I find that a lot of people, because like you said, the drama has been a part of their life and they don't know anything else, and so to step outside of that drama actually is abnormal. It's uncomfortable. They don't even realize what life looks like if they were outside of the drama. They need it because it becomes part of their day to day. It becomes part of their conversation. It's like, if I don't have drama, do I really have something to contribute? Do I have anything that I can talk about? So, yeah, I love the fact that you brought it up, that a lot of times it stems from way back when, and we don't know what we're like outside of that drama. So when we're looking at, there's been this cycle of drama from childhood, and now it's come into your teenage years, it's come into your adult years, it's likely come into your years as a parent. What are some of the patterns that show up? So for someone right now watching who's like, oh, I'm never a part of drama, enlighten them on how they might be in dramatic situations that they don't even recognize. What are some of the patterns that we see?
I find a lot of people feel obligated to attend certain events, whether family, friends, even workplace events. They feel obligated. It's different workplace if it is required, mandatory, but it's different when it's optional. And if you don't want to go, what people have learned to do is they dishonor their emotional and mental experience at that time for the sake of showing up. So now we're talking
Mm,
about people pleasing behavior. And just like what you mentioned a couple of moments ago, when we are in drama situations or drama relationships for so long, it has now become an integral part of their identity that it causes distress to think, well, what is my life going to be like without the drama? What is it going to be any fun? Is it going to be exciting without the drama? There's a part that is attached to the drama. So it's really important to evaluate that aspect of it as well. So for those who don't realize that they're in the thick of drama and have been for a very long time, usually there's a sense of obligation. Like they don't even consider that I don't want to go, I'm not going. It's absolutely not. I'm going to go. I was invited. We have this every year. We have this every quarter. I'm going to go. So that is one of the larger pieces. And how they willingly dishonor their emotional and mental, physical experiences for the sake of showing up. They can be dead
right.
exhausted from just living life, but will somehow muster up enough energy to go and save face in these settings. And it
Yeah.
rewards the dynamic. It rewards that cycle time and time again.
Wow. Okay. Are y'all listening out there? Please make sure that you are acknowledging, like, where you are. Are you stepping so far outside of yourself just to people please? If that is a yes, if that is what you are doing, then it's now time to reevaluate, right? When we do that, when we step so far outside of ourselves to people please, what is that doing for us? How is it harming, hurting? Um, other than giving us probably headaches, what else is it? How is it showing up in our life?
When we engage in people pleasing behavior, it is difficult to fully say who we are because we don't know. We've been showing up for
Mm,
people in spaces and in particular ways that we don't know what we truly want, what we truly desire. So the plans that we have for ourselves, we hold space for, well, what are they going to think about it? Is it going to be
mm,
acceptable? And they tend to stay in the middle lane. They choose being less bold, being less vibrant, because this is easier and this is safer. This is going to please them because we don't want to disrupt what's going on over here. I don't even know what I want. I want what they want. So that can
right.
be the problem with it is you don't know who you are. So as you age up, as you grow older, when someone wants to get to know you, we can people please only for so long. We can people please for only so long. And when we get tired of doing that, when we experience frustration and we're like, I just want to be me. I'm tired. I don't want to go. And it's like, well, who are you? We don't know her.
Right.
We don't know them. That you've been showing up for so long, and now all of a sudden you acting brand new. And this sometimes can incite drama as well.
Right. You know what? I mean, I felt like you were talking to Tasha from just, 10 years ago, where I didn't know myself and I was seeking validation and love from everybody else because I didn't identify it within myself. So when you were just saying that, it was like, girl, Tasha, that was you a long time ago. Right. And I was people pleasing. I was accepting invitations of things that I really didn't want to do. I was going along with stuff just because to make sure that I didn't ruffle any feathers. And then there was the opportunity where I began to find my voice. I began to settle into, girl, you don't have to like chase behind anybody. You don't have to constantly be a yes when you really want to be a no. No period is a full statement. And what I found was there were some people that I'm not going to even say I lost along the way. I'll say there were some people that released themselves from me along the way, right? So in saying that, because I really like being transparent, Stacy, did you ever experience this kind of behavior? And what was your wake-up call to go, wait a minute, I really don't have to live like this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. With the ripe age that I have matured into, I want to say my 20s. That was all my 20s. When I was that young woman, really seeking ways, external validation to feel needed, to feel desired, to feel cared for, to feel adored. And because I didn't have that for myself, I went and tried to find versions of it that weren't long lasting at all. So gratefully, I was given the gift of my son Matthew, and that's why that's his name, where it was like, you have to wake up. You have to wake up. Are you going to birth another generation of this type of foolishness? And
Ooh, that part.
it allowed me to really see what was important, that I value myself enough so that my Black son sees how a Black woman is to treat herself. So when I had him, he was my wake up call.
Wow. I honor that in you because I had 3 children before that wake up call occurred. Right. And I think that's the reason why my youngest son has a different version of me than my older 3 kids had. So I love the fact that you realized that as soon as you became a mother, because some of us become moms and that cycle just continues. And like you said, it becomes then generational because we don't even realize we're stuck in that, and then we raise our kids in that same pattern and that same behavior. So I applaud you for saying like, no, I had a baby and was like, yeah, we're not getting ready to do this, right? So Stacy, into Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know if I'm having bad internet today. I want to move into, like we talked about self, but I want to shift into, let's talk about family, right? Like all of us tend to have a or some family that constantly revolve around drama. Either you have to obey me and listen to me to be in my presence. You need to give to me in order to be around me. You need to agree with me so that we can have a relationship. And for other people, because it's family and everybody has so many ties to this word family, we just throw it off as, well, that's just how that person is. And you know what? It's okay. That's just how that person is. What happens when that drama is constantly in your face because it is family or someone close to you?
This is how it becomes a part of identity because it is so familiar. We subconsciously seek it out in the relationships that we have. That's what we're used to. So again, this is the loyalty and the obligatory nature of showing up because it's mama and them, or showing up because, well, this is the cookout that we've been waiting for all summer and I'm gonna go even though we're not talking. So those types of dynamics have to be challenged if you are wanting to distance yourself further and further from drama, which can be really distressing. It can be really distressing, but it's also important. Like, well, what do you want your life to look like at the end of 2024? Do you want it to look exactly the same way it did at the end of 2023? Because if you don't, there are things that are well within your authority and well within your power to make changes.
Yeah, I agree. And at the brunch last year, we had Shirley Smith, Shirley the Jewel. Shout out to you. Um, and she spoke about repositioning people in your heart. Like sometimes you got to reposition where people are. And I know for me personally, family or not, when I really began to accept who I was, instead of who I was pretending to be to fit the mold, I didn't care. I honestly didn't care who it was or how. If you could not be a part of my peace, you couldn't be a part of my presence. Right. And everybody, I understand that it was a journey for me to get to that point. But once I did, there was also a release that I experienced. So, can you talk a little bit about what the release feels like when women awaken to this? I don't have to continue to fit the mold that you need me to be in order to be around you.
Mhm. I like to describe that as liberation because we have freed ourselves from the relationships, situations, and sometimes organizations that benefit from us being connected in that way. Since we're talking about drama, with us being connected to the drama so significantly. So when we have learned
Mhm.
to distance ourselves from that, when we shed that part of ourselves, we experience liberation. And it's very freeing, but it can be very frightening at the same time because that's so much what you're used to. So you're unsure of what the next is going to look like when you distance yourself from drama. So there is vulnerability that's attached to that liberation from getting free of the drama that, quite frankly, a lot of us have experienced or are continually experiencing because of the relationships that we have.
Yeah, I was told for quite a long time by a family member, "Oh, well, you're just so fake. Oh my God, you're so fake. You're so fake. You're so fake." And one day, like in finding my voice, I said, "You're right. I am fake. I'm fake with you." Because what I realized is that around other people, I was good with who I was. I was comfortable with my friends. I loved the Tasha that I was. And then every time I got around this one person, I shrunk into this small little ball. And so that's why they experienced a fake side of me because I was being fake. And when I realized that, when the last time this person said that to me and I said, "You're absolutely right. I am fake with you because I'm trying to please you. Like I'm trying to get your acceptance. And I don't need it. And I don't care." And the last time I really spoke up for myself, that was the last time the person spoke to me.
Mm. Mhm. So it's like
That
the
was the last.
benefit that that person experienced with you continuing to be fake worked for them until it didn't. Until you acknowledge that this doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve our relationship. So thank you. I'm not going to be her anymore.
Right. Yes. All right. So we're talking about family. We're going to shift into friendships, because a lot of times you have your close circle, you have your friends. Sometimes you have friends inside of the same group, and maybe they're not the best of friends, but they still can be cordial. And then there might be some type of divide where now there's friends who just absolutely don't get along, and you feel stuck in the middle,
Mhm.
right? How does that person actually, we're going to go to commercial before you answer this question. We'll take a commercial break, but how do you, as the person that's in the middle, they're still friends with both people, but these two people are no longer friends. So naturally, we know the drama is always in the left and the right ear. What does that middle person need to do to ease and stop the drama? Because 9 times out of 10, every time their phone rings, they're looking at the phone going, "Oh God, what are they about to talk about now?" Right? So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, Stacy will talk about the drama inside of friendships and how you can deal with that this year.
Know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bulletin Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bulletin Flight Radio.
Welcome back. I am chatting with the wonderful, marvelous Stacy McCall-Martin, a licensed marriage and family therapist. And today we are talking about just leaving the drama behind. So we've talked about the family drama and how sometimes you are birthed in that drama. And so it becomes your norm, which then it's harder to recognize that it's drama. So we talked about that. We talked about, we did our self-check. We talked about like having people in your family that are the ones that bring the drama. And now we're going to move into friendships, because as women, we somehow always tend to find spaces where now maybe two of the people in our circle are no longer talking, and there's always that one that feels caught in the middle. So Stacy, for that person that feels caught in the middle, where it's like, oh my God, there's always drama between these two, what do you say to that person? Like, and they're just like, they're tired of it, it's enough, but they still love these two people.
One of the things I would ask that person is, have you decided if you are a peacekeeper or a peacemaker? Now, on the surface, we're like, they both have to do with peace. Pick one. It doesn't matter. But understanding that a peacekeeper is the one who holds space for pseudo peace, the thing that feels like peace. They tend to be in the middle lane, trying not to make this one upset, trying not to make this one jealous. So they kind of hold space and just like, hearing this and hearing that. So peacekeepers are ones who are not disruptive in any way. They may be people pleasers as well. Peacemakers, however, are the ones that understand that disruption often is necessary for the sake of peace. So peace is always the pursuit, but disruption is always going to be important. I will also ask that same person, says, how strong are your boundaries? Because you have to remember, folks who benefit from our poor boundaries are going to be those same folks that have a problem when we clarify our direct and clear boundaries.
Ooh. So are y'all out there defining your clear boundaries? Or are you continuing to let people cross those boundaries? Are you letting people just kind of nudge on those boundaries? Or are you standing firm in and on your boundaries? Because I know when I found my boundaries, I was like, I ain't taking none of this mess anymore, right? And it definitely feels different. Now, sticking with the friendship side of things, when there's that one person that is always bringing the drama, no matter what, every time they are together, every time the phone rings, it is always about it's almost like, girl, does your life exist without drama? right? And I know that you can separate yourself, but a lot of times in friendships, you just don't want to do that. How do you love on this person, but at the same time, how do you go, girl, enough is enough? Like, you can't, why do you still keep dealing with this? Or why do you want to continue to talk about this? You know, what do you do with that? Because sometimes we don't want to say something. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we feel like yes. Sometimes we feel like no. But we all have that friend.
Yeah. Yes, we do. I think it's important to ask ourselves if we are that friend that's stuck in the middle, if we are that friend that gets drama dumped on, we have to ask, is the disruption I'm about to make worth the peace that I will access? And peace is very subjective. Peace may mean that that friendship will be forever changed, up to and including y'all ain't friends anymore. Peace may also be she may learn not to connect with you when she's going through, but she will learn to tell you, hey, I was struggling with something last week and what you said I really valued. So I dealt with it on my own, but I do want to tell you about it. And then that friend, the one who felt like she was being drama dumped on, will say, I'm so proud of you. I would love to hear it. How about, and then you get to pick the time. It starts with shifting the dynamic, but asking yourself if the disruption I am about to make is worth the peace I will access.
Ooh. Peace is everything for me, y'all. Y'all know I love my peace. Like I said, if you cannot come into my peace, you cannot be a part of my presence. So we've gone from self to family to friendships. And I know it feels like it's going really fast, but y'all, we only have 60 minutes. So I want to make sure we get in as much as we can. So we're going to move into relationships. And then I want to begin to break down, what do you need to do? What are some steps to really leave this drama behind you? What does it mean to leave it behind? And how can you then really move forward in your life and how you want to define it? And understanding you might hurt some feelings along the way. But let's talk about relationships, because like you said, drama really starts in a lot of people from the time that we're children, and we're just recycling it and we're building it, and it then comes into our homes and in our relationships. So when you are dealing with your significant other, your boyfriend, your wife, your spouse, whatever, when you're dealing with that specific person, what are some ways that drama shows up inside of your relationship, your intimate relationship, and how can you begin to dissolve it but still effectively get results?
That's a big question. I think drama shows up in relationships when we are focused more on our perception than the reality. Right? This is where assumptions come in. This is where filling in the gaps come in. This is where, for those of us who experience anxiety, you just need to give me like a, oh, okay. In a text message, I've created a whole narrative of what the oh, okay means. Right?
Right.
So when our perception is what we focus on and we ignore the reality is where drama comes in. Now, we can contribute to that directly, or we can experience it indirectly by this is what our significant other is bringing to us. We then have to make the decision, is this a dynamic I want maintained in my relationship? Because I know for a lot of us, we have maintained it subconsciously. We have maintained it indirectly. I'll give you an example. I'm a therapist and life coach that loves to share. So, and I can, I can't tell my client stuff, so I'm going to tell you my stuff. My husband struggles to, let me rephrase that. My husband appreciates leaving his stuff where it is when he drops it there. I don't appreciate that. My perception.
Right. I love how she used to appreciate, y'all. He appreciates leaving there. I have never heard it put that way.
I'm trying to turn these words. So I do not appreciate that. My perception is that he is inconsiderate. My perception is he doesn't value my time, effort, and energy I put into upkeeping the home. That's my perception. The reality is the tray was left, the food was left, the cabinet was left open. That's it. No emotion attached to it. That's the reality. But if I build on he's inconsiderate, he doesn't value me, I have created a whole scenario. And then what I do to confirm that will maintain the dynamic. And we've been married 11, coming on 12 years. So if I don't know that, and if I have no one in my circle who's going to check me, this is just what happens on a day in and day out basis.
Wow. Wow. I just want you to rewind a little bit and say that again about the perception that we create, but it's actually not what's happening, because I want people to really hear that, because we do create narratives. We do create, I am that person. Like, I will see a text and be like, oh, let me break this down. I mean, I inside of a group that I am a part of, I actually went and did a video because I didn't want anybody to misconstrue what I was saying. I'm like, let me leave you a video so you can hear it from me. You can hear my tone. You know what I mean, that. But we do create these narratives and we create the perception of what we are thinking. So I just want you to run that back a little bit so that people can really hear it. I need them to walk away with that.
Yes. Drama comes into our intimate romantic relationships when we focus on our perspective and ignore the reality.
Focusing on the perspective and ignoring the reality. I feel like that is just clear across the board, even in friendships, in any type of relationship, because the first thing you hear people say is, oh, I know what they really meant. Oh, I know what they really, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, maybe not, because that's one thing that will turn my entire soul, is when you tell me I meant something and you never ask me what I meant. You never ask me how I felt. You just assume this is what I meant and you run with it. And there are people, how do you deal with people who they only see inside of their head? There is no outside. There's no 2020. Hindsight is 2020. It's like, this is what I think, this is what I feel, and I know that I'm right. How do you deal with those kind of people?
It can be very, very tricky. Absolutely very tricky dealing with someone who is closed-minded and is not considering that an alternative truth can exist. And you choose not to engage. You choose not to engage. One thing that I remember is we don't negotiate with terrorists. And right now, you're trying to terrorize my peace. I'm not going to negotiate with that. You believe that happened? Have at it.
Have at it. Yes. Like,
I'm
at some point, I just sit back and go, I accept your version of the truth. If you do, I don't care. I feel like Michelle, blame it on me, say it's my fault, say I lied, I cheated, do whatever you want. I don't care, because at this point, I'm not getting ready to beat a dead horse trying to help you understand what I feel, when all that matters is what you think. I'm not getting ready to go there. Okay.
Now, so let me add this to you real quick. I'm watching the time. Now, I do have the privilege, the guilty privilege of being a therapist. So my husband will tell you it's hard being married to a therapist. Okay. But if even in my moments where I'm focused on my perception and that becomes my reality because I'm so focused on it, sometimes I will have to talk it out loud. And he helps me to understand that wasn't my intention. I did not mean for that to be my impact, and I apologize. And sometimes I have to be that one to say, when you did that, I thought this. When you did that, I felt this way. And then this is why I did that behavior. We have to be adult and mature enough. We also have to have some emotional acumen to understand what I intended to do is not the impact that I left. We can apologize. We can engage in change behavior. We can ask our significant other, what would you like me to do to show you that I am aware that I acknowledge that and I want to be different towards you?
Right. I love that, because accountability is everything. And the problem with accountability is so many people are listening to defend. And it's like, we have to get to this point, especially in our maturity. I'm not going to say age, but in our maturity, we have to come to a point where we need to seek to understand instead of being understood. Like, let me understand. Let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. But when we're already creating the defense, we ain't listening to nothing.
At all. Nothing.
We're not listening to anything. So then you don't have an apology to offer or changed behavior, because all you're trying to do is defend yourself. And again, I no longer subscribe to friendships where you need to constantly be in defense. and or you do not hold yourself accountable, right? I remember a friend of mine said that an action I did hurt her. And I apologized that it hurt her. I did not apologize for my action because my action was not to hurt her. I did not know that my action, that something that I said, I did not know that it hurt her. I was speaking from a place of like resolving the issue, but I guess how I went about it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I would never say something to specifically hurt your feelings. I don't always apologize for something that you're welcome to be like, Tasha, girl, you wrong. I don't always apologize for something that I say unless I know for sure that I said it to hurt or offend or whatever, which is not something I do. But I do think that sometimes people take what you say as whatever they want to take it as, and they misconstrued it and they have it in their mind however they want to have it. And then it's like you're apologizing over and over again and you're beating a dead horse with an apology that's never going to resolve something.
Yeah. I think in situations like that, it's understanding your capacity to engage in that type of dynamic or relationship altogether. Now, it is a little different with my spouse. Now, my husband and I are both Tauruses, so apologies come very few and far between. And I have learned to move away from "I'm sorry you feel that way" because there is no remorse. It's an empty apology. In my household, I have learned that is an empty apology. What I have learned is what I have instead learned to say is, "That wasn't my intention, and I'm sorry. I would never want you to feel that way."
Right.
And I will be intentional in avoiding doing that in the future. Let me know when you feel that I have done that because I don't want that to be what our marriage is like.
Yeah, and I think I love that because so many people, as opposed to, stopping and saying like, hold on, this is how you made me feel, they just continue to build that vault. And then when they're ready, now everything that they've been feeling is coming out. And you're like, well, hold on. I didn't even know you felt like this about something that I said 6 months ago, because nothing was ever said. And so now you're just holding it. And then at some point it explodes. Yeah. So I love the fact that you guys have that dynamic, which I think is really, really important just in everyday life with people, whether it's coworkers, whether it's family or friends. Are you willing to hold yourself accountable and say you didn't intend to hurt someone? Because not everything we say is going to be done with peaches and cream, but also not everything we say is meant to hurt someone. Sometimes people are just going to be hurt by it, right? So in these last 10 minutes or so, I really want to give people action steps. What can they do to acknowledge the drama? So being aware of it, but what are some steps that they can do to go, okay, this isn't serving me. I'm going to start leaving this behind. What are actual action steps that people can do to just let it be, let it go, and move forward?
I'm jotting that down because I want to make sure that I cover that. One of my favorite things to do is to set goals, not in the traditional sense. Now, I did do a vision board and it's positioned, right behind my computer so I could see that all the time. I think one of the really important things to consider is when you are making a goal, it would be helpful to phrase it like this. What do I want to be like in a year? So in 12 months, what do I want my relationships to be like? What do I want my friendships to be like? What do I want my family dynamic to be like? What do I need to do in 9 months to make that happen? What is within my control to do in 6 months to make that happen? In 3 months, in 45 days, in a month. That way it gives you bite-sized steps to take toward, I want healthy relationships that I surround myself with effortlessly. And then stepping it back that way will give you actionable steps to make that happen. It's not easy. So creating accountability to keep you on the straight and narrow path is going to be really important. Now, oftentimes the people that we're trying to shift a dynamic with may not be the best person to create accountability with unless you have decided that the investment, emotional and otherwise, is so much important that you're willing to receive the feedback, unwanted or not, how you're doing on your goal. toward, you know, having healthy relationships that you surround yourself with effortlessly.
Wow. So we start by writing out what do we want the end of our 2024 to look like, and then we're going to reverse engineer and move backwards on that.
Move backwards.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. Awesome. I love that. What is something else that we can do in evaluating those around us? What are ways that we can really honor ourselves and our space and say, I think this relationship has come to completion. When I say relationship, I don't mean necessarily a intimate one, just relationship in general. But how can we honor our own space with the drama around us?
We can measure it. Most anything we need to measure anyway to know how well something is going. Most time, like I need an oil change in my car right now. How do I know I need an oil change? Because this little sticker says that I'm about 300 miles past when I'm supposed to do that. So for those of us who have some awareness of which relationships are draining us, we can give ourselves a specific time frame, like the end of the month, middle of the month, the 15th, the 30th, the 31st, and evaluate, how am I feeling about this relationship different than the month before, different than the year before? And you can assign a scale, 1 to 3. I love it. I hate it. And if that is consistently what your score is for like 3 months, it's pretty clear that some shifting, significant shifting needs to happen in order to remove you from drama as much as possible. And it doesn't mean, again, that the relationship is going to end, the friendship, the family dynamic is going to end, but it may mean the dynamic needs to significantly change in order for drama to be a thing of the past.
Right. Beautiful. Beautifully said. Stacy, can you create a vision of what life, and I understand everybody, this is different for each person. Okay. So we're just doing in general, but when you have that release, you've done these 3 months and everything is I can't stand this, I don't like this, and you're like, okay, I might need to shift this away from me, or you're looking at that year plan and you're reverse engineering, and you're like, okay, in order to get to here by December 31st, these are some things that I'm going to have to eliminate and let go of. Can you just paint a picture of what life is like when you truly allow yourself to release the things and people that are no longer serving who you stand on this day?
So if we can picture what it would be like to have full agency of our life, our time, our commitments, the people that we surround ourselves with, that is what it is like. I used the word earlier, liberation. Engaging in practices that affirm our liberation is really important. So you have to think, if me continuing in this friendship is keeping me in bondage or keeping me chained to drama, is that getting me closer to liberation? And the answer is going to be no every time. Then what do I need to do? What am I willing to do in order to address this relationship so I can make it look more like how I want it to feel, more like how it should deserve to feel for the both of us or whoever else is involved? I think that is really important, is considering, if you choose to set a goal, what is the ideal? What does the dream look like? And really deciding, how do I get there? Write it down, find pictures that align with that. It helps to make it more clear and concrete, so you know when you get there. It won't be questioned. Like when you're looking at the phone, seeing that text come through, rolling your eyes in the back of your, chances are a boundary needs to be set.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I thank you, because I want people to be able to walk away and self-reflect. What do I need to do? Where am I in my life? Who needs to continue on with me? Who do I need to let go of? Because everybody has this idea of a New Year's resolution that typically does not work, where it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this person, or I'm going to eliminate friends. Like everybody has all these things, but really it's not about a New Year's resolution. It's about honoring where you are and where you want to be, where you want to go. And if these things and people serve where you're going and moving to in life. And if they don't, it doesn't matter if it's January 1st, it doesn't matter if it's April 1st, it doesn't matter if it's October 1st. You got to let it go.
Right.
You really, really have to let it go. So number one, Stacey, I want to thank you for being here and talking about leaving the drama behind. Y'all, this is a year for all of us to powerfully move forward into our dreams becoming our best reality. This is our time to really stand up and shine in our own light. And that's why I wanted to start this year with how do we leave all of this mess behind so that we can move forward. But Stacy, can you tell people, number one, let us know if you have anything coming up that we can support you in, that we can be a part of. Tell us that, and then also tell us how can we connect and reach you.
So this has happened.
It's okay. I know it goes down the wrong way. So
I'm gonna try my best to get through it. Allergy season is terrible. So
okay.
I do have an individual coaching program that are for women who are excited, who are excited and passionate about cultivating a life that they love and a love that gives life. So I encourage them, go to the website, thefruitedlife.com. I have recently revamped the whole website. So all the information is there. I have very exciting things happening. The individual coaching is what I'm pushing behind now because I'm so passionate to work with women for a 6-month or 3-month commitment to really help them cultivate the life that they deserve and the life that they desire.
Beautiful.
And that is my book, The Journey to Vibrancy. That's my baby. A lot of what I talk about in cultivating a life of fruitfulness is making the changes. So a lot of what we talked about is already in the book, and it helps women experience practical steps toward making those changes.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Everything, you guys. Listen, I think so many people are waiting for the big, like, grand finale of something, and you cannot get to a grand finale until you take the steps, right? Like, we don't want to celebrate. We don't want to do anything because we're all waiting on the big grandiose. But like she said, it's steps that you have to take to get there. And this is a beautiful time to begin to evaluate where you want to be in life. Where do you want to be at the end of 2024? Write yourself a letter. Like, write yourself a letter and talk about all the things that you accomplished this year, dated December 31st. And just really talk about the things that have come into fruition for yourself and celebrating it, right? And get her book, Cultivating Vibrancy in Your Life. We all need that, especially for women of color. We all need that. We all need our safe space. And we all need to feel heard and feel seen. Right. And I hope to do that with all of you this year. I will bring Stacy back, and I'm going to connect with you to do some other things with you, because I want to make sure that we are really making an impact for our women of color, especially our Black women, because we do need each other. So I appreciate you being here, sharing your expertise, sharing your experience. I know that people were able to walk away with quite a few nuggets dropped. So thank you so much. And to everyone watching, thank you for being here today. I look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be speaking with Brisa Alfaro, and we'll be talking about pinky moves and what you need to do to reach your goals in 2024. So happy New Year, and I look forward to spending an amazing year with you. Have a good week.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.